The mindset that separates winners is not about luck or talent. It's about how you think and how you act every single day. That's a statement that cuts right to the heart of what success really is. You might believe that winning comes from having the right connections, the perfect timing, or natural ability. But those things alone don't create lasting success. What truly makes winners different is how they look at their life, their challenges, and their goals. It's the way they train their mind to keep moving forward, no matter what gets in their way. In this video, we'll explore what it means to develop that mindset. The kind that pushes you past doubts, distractions, and setbacks. It's a mindset that keeps you focused on what really matters. It's about taking control of your thoughts and actions, so you create the life you want instead of waiting for it to happen. Along the way, remember this: winners see their future clearly, and they keep showing up no matter what. You don't need to be perfect or have everything figured out. What you need is a clear purpose and the confidence to keep taking steps forward. This is about changing the way you think so that success becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Keep watching and you'll discover how to build that mindset today. Now let's dive in. Number 1, taking full responsibility for your life and choices. Responsibility is where everything begins. If you want to build something real, if you want to grow, if you want to change your life, this is the starting point. It's not talent, not connections, not what family you were born into. It's the moment you decide, with full honesty, that your life is your own. Nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody owes you anything. The moment you fully accept that, things start to change. It doesn't feel good at first. In fact, it can sting a little. Because now you can't blame your boss. You can't blame the economy. You can't blame your parents or your past. You have to look straight at your current life and admit, this is what I've built. With my habits, my decisions, my standards, and my effort. It's tough, but it's also incredibly freeing. Because if you built this, you can rebuild. If you've messed up, you can fix it. You can start over. You can learn. You're not stuck unless you decide to be. Winners, the real ones, are the people who stop making excuses. When something goes wrong, they don't shift the blame. They stop and ask, what did I do? What could I have done better? What will I change next time? They're not interested in playing the victim because they know it leads nowhere. Blaming others might protect your ego for a minute, but it keeps your life exactly where it is, stuck. Growth starts the moment you choose to be brutally honest with yourself. You can feel the difference in people who've accepted responsibility. There's a calm focus in how they carry themselves. They don't waste time complaining. They don't look for sympathy. They look for solutions. They spend their energy building instead of blaming. And that energy creates results. You start to earn more, think clearer, and do better. Simply because you've taken ownership of everything in your control. And I want you to feel this shift. Not just hear it, not just understand it, but feel it. When you stop pointing fingers and start pointing inward, something happens inside you. You begin to feel stronger, more capable. You start looking at each day, not as something happening to you, but something you're shaping, step by step. That feeling, that control, is powerful. That's what builds confidence. That's what creates momentum. Responsibility doesn't mean you're to blame for everything that happens in life. There are things outside your control. Tragedies, setbacks, things you never asked for. But what is always yours is your response. That's what defines you, not the problem, but how you handle it. Winners understand this. They don't let pain become a prison. They use it as fuel. They let it teach them, shape them, guide them to the next level. This mindset shows up in the small things. How you speak, how you treat others, how you spend your time. Winners don't waste hours scrolling through distractions. They're not interested in numbing themselves. They face life directly, even when it's uncomfortable. They use their time with intention, and they don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline, because once you take full responsibility, you stop waiting to feel ready. You act because it's necessary. You act because it's your job. Think about it. Every result in your life, right now, your body, your bank account, your relationships, is giving you feedback. And that feedback is telling you something about your habits, your mindset, your priorities. If something's not working, you don't need to be ashamed of it, but you do need to own it. Nobody else is responsible for fixing it. That job is yours. And it's not just about fixing what's broken. It's about building what you truly want. The life you want isn't going to be handed to you. It's going to be built, choice by choice, hour by hour, by you. Taking full responsibility means you no longer wait for the perfect time or the right circumstances. You work with what you have, and you start now. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. If you don't take responsibility for your life, someone else will. If you don't decide how your day will go, someone else will fill it for you. If you don't make your own decisions, someone else will make them for you. And the life that results from that won't be yours. It'll be a version of what other people wanted for you. That's not success. That's survival. You don't want to live like that. You want to live with your head held high, knowing that whatever happens, you gave it your best. That even when things didn't go your way, you stood up, you adjusted, and you kept going. That's what responsibility gives you. Not perfection, but power. Not guarantees, but control. And once you start to live this way, something changes. You stop caring so much about other people's approval. You stop being afraid of failure, because now you're in the driver's seat. You're not reacting to life anymore. You're creating it. That's where real growth begins. That's when your goals stop being dreams and start becoming targets. And you hit them because you're showing up every day with intention. This mindset builds character. It makes you the kind of person who follows through, the kind of person others respect. Not because you talk a good game, but because you live it. People feel it when you're real. They notice when you take ownership. You don't need to boast. You just need to keep showing up, keep improving, and keep taking full responsibility. This is what separates winners. It's not a secret trick. It's not a magic formula. It's the simple, powerful choice to take control of your life, to stop waiting, to stop blaming, to stop hoping someone else will change your situation. You change it. You grow into it. You build it, piece by piece, every single day. You may not get it right every time. You may fall short. You may make mistakes. That's part of it. But the winner's mindset says, even then, I don't run from it. I learn from it. I accept it. And I get better. Because when you take full responsibility, nothing is wasted. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes a test of your commitment. And every day becomes a new chance to build a life you're proud of. This isn't something you do once and forget. It's a habit. It's a daily practice. It's a decision you make again and again. Every time life pushes back. And each time you make it, you get stronger. You earn more trust in yourself. And that trust becomes the foundation for everything else. When you take full responsibility for your life and choices, you stop being a passenger. You become the one steering the course. And that's when things begin to shift in your favor. That's when people start noticing the change in your energy, your results, your focus, because you're no longer hoping, you're working. You're not waiting, you're doing. You're not stuck, you're growing every single day. Number 2, embracing challenges as opportunities to grow. Most people see challenges as problems to avoid. They see hard times as reasons to stop, to shrink back, to complain. But the people who grow, the ones who improve and reach new levels, see it differently. They understand that every challenge is a test, a lesson, a chance to become more, Winners don't run from difficulty. They lean into it. They know discomfort is not something to fear, but something to work through. Growth doesn't happen in ease. It happens when something stretches you. It happens when things get uncomfortable, when your patience is tested, when your old ways of thinking no longer work. These are the moments where you either rise or retreat. The winners use those moments to push forward. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't hope things get easier. They rise to meet the challenge as it is. You don't become stronger without resistance. Just like your muscles grow under pressure, your mindset grows when you face something hard and refuse to quit. When things don't go your way, you have two choices: complain about how unfair it is, or figure out what you can do about it. The second choice is what growth-minded people take every single time. They don't deny the struggle. They face it head on and ask, what can I learn from this, and how do I get better because of it? A challenge is more than just a tough time. It's an invitation to rise above what you used to be. When you run into a wall, it's not the wall that defines you. It's how you respond. Some people give up at the first sign of struggle, and they convince themselves that it just wasn't meant to be. But the winners know better. They see that wall and say, good, now I get to see what I'm made of. That mindset separates the people who grow from the ones who stay stuck. Every challenge holds a hidden lesson. Sometimes it teaches you how to be patient. Other times it teaches you how to adjust your strategy. Sometimes it shows you what you've been ignoring or avoiding. Growth doesn't always look like progress in the moment. It often feels like stress, frustration, or even failure. But if you stay in it, if you refuse to walk away, that's where transformation happens. When you embrace a challenge, you begin to develop qualities that can't be taught in books. Grit, mental toughness, emotional control. These are the things that shape you from the inside out. You can't fake them. You earn them by facing real difficulty and staying the course. The more you go through, the more you realize that nothing is bigger than your will to keep going. And the more you push through, the more confident you become. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. People often wait for the perfect condition. They want the timing to be right, the path to be smooth, the odds to be in their favor. But life doesn't work like that. Life is unpredictable. It throws curveballs. It tests your plan. And the people who succeed are not the ones with the easiest path. They're the ones who adapt when the path changes. They don't panic. They adjust. They stay focused on the outcome, not the obstacle. It's easy to admire someone who's successful. It's harder to look at the years they spent overcoming one challenge after another. But that's the part that matters most. You grow every time you face something difficult and push yourself to figure it out. Whether it's learning a new skill, rebuilding after failure, or dealing with disappointment, each one adds to who you are. You're not going to grow if you avoid the hard stuff. If you're always looking for the shortcut, you'll miss the value of the process. Real progress comes from putting yourself in situations where you don't have all the answers, where you have to stretch beyond your comfort. That's where your mind expands. That's where you stop being who you were and become someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Challenges expose the parts of you that need work. That's a gift. It gives you a clear picture of what to focus on. When things are easy, you don't grow because you're not being tested. But when something pushes you, it brings out the truth. Are you committed? Are you focused? Are you willing to keep going when it hurts? These are questions that only challenge can answer. And when you answer those questions with action, when you show up even when it's tough, you begin to build something inside you that can't be broken. That inner strength becomes your foundation. It makes you more resilient. It makes you more determined. It gives you the edge you need in a world full of distractions and excuses. There's no substitute for the growth that comes from struggle. The people who achieve the most are the ones who kept moving through seasons of doubt, pain, confusion, and pressure. They didn't get there because it was easy. They got there because they didn't back down. They trusted that the challenge was shaping them, and they were right. When you shift your mindset, when you stop seeing problems as stop signs and start seeing them as stepping stones, everything changes. You stop fearing what might go wrong. You stop worrying about failure. You begin to welcome discomfort because you know it's part of the process. That mindset puts you in control. You're not waiting for life to be easy. You're getting better so you can handle whatever comes. Growth isn't clean or perfect. It's messy. It's uncertain, but it's worth it. Every challenge you embrace becomes a part of your strength. It adds to your story. It builds your confidence. And the more you grow, the more you realize that you can handle more than you thought. You don't need everything to go right. You just need to keep getting better. And challenges are the tool that makes that happen. The next time life throws something difficult your way, don't run. Don't complain. Look at it and say, this is my chance to level up. Push through the resistance. Figure it out. Even if it takes longer than you expected, stay with it. Trust the process. Because in every struggle, there's an opportunity waiting for you. And if you keep going, you'll find it. Number 3. Developing consistent daily habits that build success. Success doesn't show up all at once. It's not a big event. It doesn't come knocking at your door with a clear sign. It comes from doing small things right. Every single day. It grows slowly, quietly, with the daily choices you make when no one's watching. The people who win long-term are the ones who understand that progress isn't about intensity for a day, it's about consistency over time. The winners don't just act when they feel good. They build habits that carry them through the days they don't. If you look closely at anyone who's done something meaningful with their life, you'll see a rhythm behind their success. There's structure. There's order. They wake up with purpose. They follow a pattern. They're not guessing what to do each day. They've already decided. Their routines are not glamorous, but they're powerful. Because every habit is a vote for the person you want to become. You can't build anything lasting if you're only showing up when you feel like it. Most people never get where they want to go because they can't stay consistent. They keep starting over. They're always jumping from one thing to the next. They get motivated, then lose focus. But the people who achieve real growth are the ones who stick to the basic. They do the work even when it's boring. They show up even when the results aren't immediate. They understand that the power isn't in the act. It's in the repetition. Your habits are shaping your future. The way you spend your mornings, the way you treat your health, the way you talk to yourself, it's all adding up, even if you don't see the results yet. The food you eat, the books you read, the time you waste or invest, all of it is casting a vote. You don't get to control everything, but you do control what you repeat. And what you repeat becomes who you are. The winners don't try to do everything at once. They don't overload their schedules and then burn out. They pick a few key habits that matter, and they do them every day. It could be reading for 30 minutes, working out, planning their day, setting goals, reflecting at night. Simple things, but done with consistency. They compound into something powerful. They create structure. They build discipline. And they remove the chaos that comes from living without direction. A lot of people underestimate how far daily habits can take them. They think if something isn't dramatic, it's not valuable. But it's the quiet, consistent work that moves your life. Doing the same things every day might sound dull, but it's not. It's where confidence comes from. It's where trust in yourself is. When you know you'll show up no matter what, that's when your mind starts working with you instead of against you. You don't need a perfect system to start. You don't need to wait until Monday. You just need to decide that today, you'll do the small things that matter. You'll wake up a little earlier. You'll make your bed. You'll eat with purpose. You'll stop wasting hours scrolling through distractions. And you'll do it again tomorrow. That's how you turn your days into something that serves you, not something that drains you. Habits are not just about doing more. They're about choosing better. Replace the things that steal your energy with actions that give it back. Cut out one distraction. Add one positive action. And do it again the next day. You don't need motivation when your habits are solid. You just do it. Like brushing your teeth. It becomes part of you. What separates people who win from those who stay stuck is not talent. It's not luck. It's daily discipline. It's choosing growth over comfort, structure over chaos, commitment over excuses. And that choice is made in the morning, in the evening, and in every moment in between. You don't need to do everything, but you need to keep doing the right thing. When you stick to your habits, even when life gets messy, you begin to feel something different. You feel steady. You feel in control. You trust yourself. You stop needing things to be perfect because you know you'll keep going either way. That trust builds over time, and it makes you stronger than the setbacks that used to shake you. You don't build a legacy overnight. You build it one decision at a time. You keep showing up. You keep learning. You stay focused. And you stay patient. There will be days when it feels like nothing's changing. But if you keep doing the work, it's changing you. And that's where real success comes from. There's no magic formula. There's no shortcut. But there is a path. And that path is paved with habit. Not big, flashy changes, but quiet, consistent action. The right routines create the right life. Wake up early. Set your intentions. Review your goals. Invest in your mind. Move your body. Respect your time. And stay away from the noise that tries to pull you off track. If you can build these habits into your life, you give yourself a foundation that doesn't shake every time life throws you a curveball. You become someone who doesn't just react, but responds with purpose. Someone who doesn't fall apart when things get hard, because you've already trained your mind to push through discomfort. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to show up for yourself. That's what habits do. They turn your effort into progress. They help you stay grounded when everything else feels uncertain. They keep you moving forward when motivation runs out. And over time, they lead you to results that others can't explain. They'll wonder how you got there. They'll talk about your success like it happened overnight. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it was built, step by step, day by day, habit by habit. While others were waiting for the right time, you were using your time. While others were stuck in cycles, you were moving forward with intention. That's what separates people who just dream from those who actually do something. The dreamers hope, the doers build, and they build with daily habits that are simple, clear, and consistent. The results may not come fast, but they do come. And when they do, they last. Because they were built on something solid. Your choices, your effort, your daily discipline. Number 4. Keeping focus on long-term goals, not short-term comfort. Most people never build the life they want because they keep choosing what feels good right now instead of what's going to help them grow. They know deep down what they should be doing, but they keep putting it off. They look for the easy way. They reach for comfort. But the ones who achieve something meaningful, the ones who live with purpose and pride, are the ones who make real decisions based on where they want to be years from now. Not just where they are today. When you focus only on what's right in front of you, you miss the bigger picture. You trade progress for quick relief. You start skipping the gym because it's easier to stay in bed. You avoid hard conversations because it's more comfortable to stay quiet. You stop pushing yourself because it's simpler to settle. But every one of those decisions adds up. They build your future in the same way your goals do, only in the wrong direction. The people who stay focused on long-term goals aren't driven by how they feel in the moment. They're driven by who they want to become. They know that the reward doesn't show up right away. They understand that success isn't a one-day effort. It's not about instant results. It's about steady progress over time. They don't let a bad day turn into a bad week. They stay consistent, even when things aren't exciting. Discipline isn't built when everything feels good. It's built when you say no to something easy because you're saying yes to something greater. Every time you resist the urge to give in, you're strengthening your commitment. You're reminding yourself that your future matters more than your feelings. And that shift in focus, choosing your goal over your comfort, changes everything. It's tempting to chase short-term comfort. It's tempting to relax, to escape, to take it easy. And in moderation, that's fine. But when you let comfort lead your life, you start drifting. You stop making progress. You lose the hunger that pushes you forward. That's what separates people who make it from people who don't. The winners know that comfort is temporary, but regret can last a lifetime. And they're not willing to live with the regret of giving up on something they believed in. Keeping your eyes on your long-term goal means making sacrifices now so you can enjoy the reward later. It means saying no to distractions, even when they seem harmless. It means staying focused when everyone else is wasting time. It means doing what you said you would do long after the mood you made the decision in has faded. That's how character is built. That's how dreams become reality. There are going to be days when you want to quit. There will be moments when it feels like the goal is too far away. But that's when you need to remind yourself why you started. You didn't start this journey to give up when it got hard. You started because you believed in something better. You believed you could do more, be more, build something meaningful. That belief doesn't disappear just because it's uncomfortable. It only disappears if you stop feeding it with action. When you stay focused on your long-term vision, you stop needing validation from other people. You stop comparing your journey to theirs. You stop chasing quick fixes. You know where you're going. You've set your direction. And even if you're not there yet, you're moving in the right way. That's what matters. This kind of focus gives you power. It gives you clarity. It helps you make decisions faster. You don't waste time wondering what to do next, because your goal decides for you. If it doesn't help you move forward, you let it go. If it adds value to your growth, you keep it. This makes your days more productive. Your time becomes more valuable. You become more intentional. And when you live with that kind of intention, your energy shifts. You're not just going through the motions anymore. You're building something. You're not just reacting to life. You're leading your life. You become the kind of person who follows through, the kind of person others can count on, the kind of person who doesn't fold when things get hard, but rises up and keeps going. Short-term comfort feels good for a moment, but it comes at a cost. It costs you your progress. It costs you your confidence. It costs you your future. The more you choose ease now, the harder it gets later. But the more you delay comfort and choose discipline, the easier it gets to keep going. You build momentum. You build strength. And you stop needing to feel motivated, because you've trained yourself to stay focused, no matter what. Success is not about doing everything right. It's about doing the right things long enough to see them work. Most people quit too early. They stop when it gets tough, when the results take time. But the people who win are the ones who keep showing up. They don't stop to ask if it's working every day. They trust the process. They stay patient. They keep building, because they know the outcome is worth the effort. When you start living for your long-term goals, your standards change. You stop settling. You stop making decisions based on how you feel right now. You start making them based on what you want to feel years from now. You stop chasing pleasure and start chasing purpose. That's how people rise above average. That's how they stay focused in a world full of distractions. You have to choose every day. You can chase comfort, or you can chase your goal. You can give in to what's easy, or you can keep building what matters. It's not a one-time decision. It's a daily one. And every day you get the chance to decide which future you're creating. Are you building a life you'll be proud of? Or are you just getting through the day? That's the real question. That's the choice that makes all the difference. Number 5. Learning to accept failure is part of the journey. Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants the reward, the recognition, the sense of accomplishment. But not everyone is willing to face the setbacks that come along the way. Failure makes most people uncomfortable. It bruises the ego. It shakes your confidence. But the ones who go the distance are the ones who learn how to face failure without backing down. They don't see it as the end. They see it as part of the process. Failure has a way of waking you up. It shows you what's not working. It teaches you where you need to grow. It reveals weaknesses you didn't notice when things were easy. And that's why it's valuable. You don't learn much when everything's going your way. Growth rarely happens in success. It happens when you're tested. It happens when your plans don't work out. And you're forced to try again with more wisdom. Most people treat failure like a wall. They hit it once and stop. But winners treat failure like a mirror. They look into it. They ask themselves what went wrong, what they can improve, what they'll do differently next time. They don't take it personally. They don't let it define who they are. They use it to sharpen their skills, strengthen their mindset, and come back smarter. If you run from failure, you never build resilience. If you avoid it, you avoid the lessons that come with it. But if you face it head on, if you let it teach you, you become someone who's not easily shaken. You develop a kind of toughness that doesn't come from winning. It comes from getting knocked down and deciding to get up again. That's how you build endurance. That's how you stay in the game long enough to actually win. People often ask how to stay confident after failing. The answer is not to avoid failure. It's to stop fearing it. When you accept that setbacks are part of the journey, you stop seeing them as threats. You start seeing them as signals. They're telling you where to focus. They're pointing you toward the gaps you need to close. And once you understand that, you don't lose confidence. You gain clarity. Every failure carries information. It tells you what doesn't work. It tells you who you were when things went wrong. And that's powerful, because it gives you a choice. Stay the same or adjust. The people who grow are the ones who make the adjustment. They take responsibility. They improve their thinking. They change their approach. And they keep moving. You won't always get it right on the first try. You might mess up more than once. You might put in the work and still fall short. But that doesn't mean you're not capable. It doesn't mean your dream is impossible. It just means you're human. And being human means you get to learn. You get to try again. You get to improve. Failure can feel painful. It can make you question everything. But if you stick with it long enough, you start to realize it's not trying to stop you. It's trying to shape you. It's trying to strip away the parts of you that aren't ready for the next level. And if you pay attention, you'll start to see that every setback was preparing you for something great. Winners don't pretend they never fail. They just don't let failure stop their momentum. They don't let one rough chapter become the whole story. They feel the disappointment. They acknowledge it, but they don't sit in it for long. They take the hit, gather themselves, and keep going, because they know the only way to truly fail is to give up trying. You're going to have moments when you feel like it's not working. You'll face criticism, rejection, and doubt. But that's part of it. That's the test. The world wants to know how serious you are. Your dream wants to know how badly you want it. And the only way to prove it is by showing up again after falling down. That's how you earn the result. Not through perfection, but through persistence. There's no shame in trying and falling short. The shame is in never trying at all. The fear of failure has stopped more people than failure itself ever could. But once you realize that failure isn't the enemy, you become free. Free to take bold action. Free to step outside your comfort zone. Free to aim higher. Because even if you fall, you know you'll stand again. And that's a kind of confidence that nobody can take from you. When you start accepting failure as part of the journey, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop hesitating. You move forward with courage, knowing that setbacks won't break you. They'll build you. You stop needing everything to be easy. You start valuing the struggle, because that's where the real progress lives. The people who reach their goals are not the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who keep going despite it. They're the ones who take every loss and turn it into a lesson. They refuse to let failure become a label. Instead, they treat it like a teacher. A hard teacher. Yes, but one that leads them to the strength they didn't know they had. You'll never know how strong you are until you keep going after falling apart. You'll never realize how committed you are until you fail publicly and still show up the next day. And you'll never grow into your full potential until you stop needing everything to go perfectly. Failure doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're building. It means you had the courage to try. And that courage, over time, leads to strength, experience, and eventually success. You can't skip the messy parts. You can't fast forward through the hard lessons. You have to face them. But if you do, you'll come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and far more capable than you were before. That's what makes the journey worth it. Not just the outcome, but who you become in the process. Number 6. Cultivating a positive, solution-oriented attitude. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect it. Some mornings, you wake up ready to take on the world. And by noon, everything feels like it's falling apart. It's easy to let frustration take over. It's tempting to dwell on everything that's wrong. But the people who move forward are the ones who learn how to shift their attention toward solutions. They don't stay stuck in the problem. They ask, what can I do right now to make this better? That mindset doesn't happen by accident. It's a choice you make every day. You train yourself to stop focusing on what you can't control. You learn to stop feeding the frustration and start directing your energy into action. And that kind of mental discipline, once developed, changes everything. It doesn't mean the problems disappear. It means you stop letting them decide how you feel and how you show up. A positive attitude doesn't mean pretending things are perfect. It means choosing not to be controlled by negativity. It's about keeping your eyes open and your heart steady. It's about saying, yes, this is hard, but I'm going to look for a way forward anyway. When most people complain, when most people fold, you decide to rise above. Not with empty optimism, but with a mindset grounded in direction. Solutions aren't found in panic. They show up when you stay calm. Take a breath and think clearly. That's why attitude matters, because your emotional state affects your decisions. If you approach a challenge with frustration, you're more likely to miss the answer that's sitting right in front of you. But if you approach it with curiosity and calm, you'll see options you didn't notice before. The ones who succeed long-term are not the ones who avoid problems. They're the ones who stay steady when problems show up. They're the ones who say, all right, this isn't ideal, but I can figure it out. That kind of confidence isn't loud. It's not boastful. It's quiet, grounded, and consistent. It comes from knowing that whatever happens, you'll find a way to handle it. You build that confidence by practicing it when things go wrong, when the deal falls through, when the project falls apart, when your plan gets derailed. Those moments are not just tests. They're training. They give you the chance to strengthen your thinking. And if you can respond with clarity instead of chaos, with hope instead of blame, you put yourself in a position to grow. Most people waste energy worrying what they can't fix. They stay stuck in why did this happen, instead of moving to what can I do now. That shift in language, that shift in focus, it's small, but it changes everything. It keeps your energy moving forward. It keeps your mind active. And it helps you stay out of the spiral that keeps most people stuck. There's nothing more powerful than someone who refuses to quit thinking clearly. Someone who, no matter how hard the day gets, keeps their head up and keeps looking for the next step. Not because they have all the answers, but because they believe there's always a better way, and they're willing to find it. When you develop a solution-oriented mindset, you stop blaming, you stop pointing fingers, you stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You take charge. You say, this is mine to work through. That doesn't mean you have all the tools right now. It means you're willing to go get them. It means you won't just sit and hope for things to change. You'll start moving in the direction of change. No matter how small the step, that's how winners think. They don't waste time waiting for motivation. They don't sit around wishing things were different. They get practical. They start where they are, with what they have. They look for what can be done right now, even if it's not perfect, even if it's uncomfortable. They stay committed to progress. Every challenge you face is a chance to train your mind, a chance to stay level-headed when it would be easier to react, a chance to respond with thought instead of emotion. And the more you practice that, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, people will look at you and say, how do you stay so calm when things go wrong? And you'll know, it's not about staying calm. It's about staying focused. It's about keeping your mind on solutions, not distractions. You can't control what shows up, but you can control how you respond. You can't always choose your situation, but you can choose your state of mind. And once you realize that, you stop feeling powerless. You start feeling capable. That shift changes the way you walk through the world. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop giving problems all your attention and start giving your energy to the actions that lead forward. There's strength in keeping your mind clean when the world gets messy. There's power in saying, I will not let this situation bring out the worst in me. I'll let it bring out the best. You're not ignoring the problem. You're just refusing to let it take control of your mindset. That's leadership. That's maturity. That's the beginning of real success. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get everything right. But you do need to decide that no matter what happens, you'll keep your mind working in the direction of solutions. That's a decision you make again and again. And over time, that choice becomes who you are. It becomes your character. It becomes the reason people trust you, follow you, and believe in you. Not because everything's easy, but because you've learned how to stay focused when things are not. Number 7, surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher. The people around you shape more than just your social life. They shape your thinking, your habits, your belief in what's possible. You may not notice it right away, but the people you spend time with influence the way you see yourself and the way you respond to the world. That's why it's so important to be intentional about your environment. If you're serious about growth, you can't keep spending time in places that shrink you. You need to be around people who challenge you to rise, not sit still. Take a close look at your circle. Are they encouraging you or draining you? Are they helping you grow or keeping you stuck? Sometimes the hardest truth to face is that the people you've known the longest aren't the ones who bring out the best in you. They might love you, but that doesn't mean they understand where you're going. If they keep reminding you of your limits instead of your potential, you've got a decision to make. The ones who lift you higher are the ones who see your strength when you forget it. They remind you of your goals when you feel like letting go. They don't just celebrate your wins, they push you when you're capable of more. Being around those kinds of people creates a different kind of energy. You think clearer. You feel more capable. You take bigger steps because you're not walking alone. Growth happens faster when you stop trying to do it all by yourself. That doesn't mean you lean on others to carry your weight. It means you surround yourself with people who are going somewhere too. People who talk about solutions. People who are building something. People who believe in effort, not excuses. Their mindset becomes fuel. Their example gives you perspective. When you're around people who live with discipline, It makes you want to sharpen your focus. When you talk to someone who holds high standards, it challenges you to raise your own. That kind of atmosphere keeps you grounded and focused. It keeps your goals at the front of your mind, even on days when motivation is low. That's why who you spend time with is not just a personal decision. It's a strategic one. If you're surrounded by people who complain all day, who don't take responsibility, who spend more time judging others than improving themselves, it wears on you. You start to absorb their mindset. Their words echo in your thought. You start playing smaller because nobody around you is reaching higher. That kind of environment can kill your drive before you even notice it. You stop dreaming, not because you gave up, but because nobody around you talks about dreaming. You don't have to cut people off with anger. You just have to make quiet decisions about where you invest your energy. You protect your peace by limiting your time in places that steal it. You grow faster when you're not spending every day trying to defend your vision to people who don't see it. That space you clear, you fill it with people who get it. People who know what it means to build, to stretch, to become more. When you start spending time with people who are disciplined, focused, and committed to progress, you feel it in your posture. You speak with more intention. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. That kind of shift in energy is priceless. It makes you more aware of how you spend your days. It makes you less tolerant of your own excuses. You start showing up differently, not because someone told you to, but because excellence became the standard in your environment. Winners don't just show up. They build a system around themselves that supports where they're going. They pick mentors, friends, partners, even colleagues who speak the language of growth. They understand that one conversation can shift your thinking, one connection can open a door, and one person's belief in you can remind you what you're capable of. But that starts with being willing to outgrow old circles. It means stepping out of comfort and stepping into environments that stretch you. It might feel lonely at first. It might feel awkward, but that discomfort is the price you pay for elevation. You won't find growth in a room where everyone is staying the same. You'll find it in a space where people are reading, thinking, reflecting, taking action. People who don't just want change, they're working on it every day. You don't need 100 people in your corner. You just need a few solid ones who want to see you win and aren't afraid to tell you the truth. People who won't let you give up on yourself. People who show up when things get hard, not just when everything's going well. Those are the voices that matter. Those are the ones who make you stronger. Pay attention to how you feel after a conversation. Are you more focused? Do you feel lighter? Do you walk away more hopeful or more drained? Your energy tells the truth, even when your mind tries to ignore it. Don't ignore the signs. Protect your mental space. Choose your circle like your future depends on it. Because it does. Your mindset will always reflect the company you keep. Spend time with people who challenge your thinking, who ask you the hard questions, who don't let you coast through life. That tension between where you are and where you could be, that's the space where growth happens. And it's easier to navigate that space when you're not walking it alone. You become more when you're surrounded by more discipline, more clarity, more focus. You step into your potential faster when your environment keeps calling it out. You stay accountable because someone's watching. You stay sharp because someone's pushing. You rise higher because someone else believed you could, and you started believing it too. Number 8, committing to lifelong learning and self-improvement. Every day is a chance to grow. If you're paying attention, the world doesn't stop changing. And neither should you. One of the biggest differences between people who move forward and those who stay stuck is that winners never believe they've arrived. They stay hungry. They look for what they don't know, not just to fill their heads with knowledge, but to improve how they live, think, and work. It's not about being perfect. It's about being better than yesterday. Learning doesn't stop after school. In fact, that's when real learning begins. Life teaches you in ways a classroom can't. It teaches through experience, through mistakes, through wins and losses. But only if you're open to it. Some people live 10 years, over and over again, stuck in the same habits, thinking the same thoughts, making the same decisions. Others take each year and build on it. They absorb the lessons. They apply the feedback. They use every moment as material to become more aware, more skilled, more useful. Improving yourself doesn't require anything fancy. You don't need a title or a degree to start paying attention. You just need a willingness to grow. That mindset alone can change everything. It pushes you to read when others waste time. It leads you to ask better questions. It keeps your pride in check because you know there's always more to learn. That attitude puts you on a different path than most. While others are waiting for inspiration, you're already working on your foundation. The problem with a lot of people is they think they know enough. They stop listening. They stop seeking. They get defensive when someone offers advice. But you can't grow while defending where you are. You've got to stay teachable. You've got to invite correction. Not because you want to feel small, but because you want to grow stronger. That shift takes maturity. It takes courage. It takes humility to admit there's more to learn, even after years of effort. When you commit to learning, you take your power back. You stop relying on luck. You stop blaming others. You stop making excuses. You take ownership of your growth. You take full control of your future. Because you're no longer waiting for someone else to fix things. You study your patterns. You read books that sharpen your mind. You seek mentors who've walked further. You reflect on what went wrong, not to feel bad, but to find a better way next time. There's no limit to how far you can go if you stay curious. That hunger is what separates those who rise from those who fade. It's not about natural talent. It's about discipline. People who commit to learning don't let a day go by without growing in some small way. They treat every challenge as a classroom. They use every conversation to expand their thinking. They stay alert. They don't sleepwalk through their routine. They're present. And because they're present, they keep evolving. There's something powerful about learning for its own sake. Not just to make money or impress someone, but because you want to become more aware, more thoughtful, more effective. When you start seeing learning that way, it becomes part of who you are. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for someone to hand you a program. You take the initiative. You build the habit. You choose to improve because you value growth over comfort. It doesn't take hours a day to grow. It takes consistency. 10 focused minutes with a good book. A quiet walk to reflect on your decisions. One honest conversation where you really listen. Those small practices build something solid over time. They create wisdom. They shape your thinking. They sharpen your instincts. And that kind of depth isn't something you can fake. It shows up in how you speak, in how you lead, in how you handle stress, in how you treat people. You want to be more valuable? Keep learning. You want more clarity in your decisions? Keep studying yourself. You want to lead others with confidence? Keep improving your mindset. Everything starts with how you think. And how you think is shaped by what you feed your mind. You can either drift and absorb the noise of the world, or you can direct your attention towards something that builds you. That choice is yours every day. Winners treat their minds like a garden. They don't leave it to chance. They plant the right thoughts. They remove the weeds. They water it daily. That's what self-improvement really is. It's not flashy. It's steady. It's disciplined. It shows up in the choices you make when no one's watching. It's in the way you spend your evenings, in the way you handle setbacks, in how you show up when you don't feel motivated. You can't build a strong life on weak thinking. You can't lead others well if you're not leading yourself. The more you learn, the more options you see. The more you improve, the more useful you become. You bring more to your work, to your relationships, to your vision, and over time, You become someone others respect, not because of your status, but because of your consistency. You don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Pick one area and go deep. Study it. Practice it. Reflect on it. And when you've grown there, pick the next one. Keep stacking those wins. Keep sharpening those skills. Keep stretching your thinking. You'll look up one day and realize you've become someone you're proud of. Not because life got easier, but because you kept choosing to grow. Number 9, practicing patience and persistence without losing drive. Everything meaningful in life takes time, whether you're building a business, changing your habits, improving your relationships, or developing your skills. Nothing important happens overnight, but here's what makes the difference. Some people keep going when results are slow, while others give up too soon. It's easy to feel excited when you're just starting. Everyone feels motivated at the beginning. The real test comes when progress slows down, when things don't work right away, when it feels like nobody notices how hard you're trying. That's where patience and persistence must come together. Patience isn't sitting back and doing nothing. It's staying calm while you're working through the process. It's choosing to keep going, even when the reward feels far away. When you plant something in the ground, it takes time to grow. You don't dig it up every day to check on it. You water it. You protect it. You trust that what you've done will lead to something. That's the mindset successful people carry. Not because they have special knowledge, but because they've trained themselves to trust their effort. Persistence means you keep showing up, even when you're tired, even when it's not exciting, even when it seems slow. That's where most people lose. They're looking for quick signs. They want proof it's working. And if they don't see it fast enough, they change direction. They quit. They doubt themselves. But you've got to remember, real growth doesn't always show up right away. Sometimes it's happening inside. Sometimes your discipline is building. Your thinking is shifting. Your habits are changing. Just because it's invisible doesn't mean it's not working. People ask, how do I keep my drive when things aren't moving? You protect it. You stay close to what reminds you why you started. You stay connected to the bigger picture. You don't let short-term results control your mood. If you do, you'll live on a roller coaster. High when things go right, crushed when things go wrong. But winners don't ride those waves. They stay steady. They stay committed. They keep their emotions in check. Not because they don't feel frustration, but because they don't let frustration run the show. You can't let time fool you. Just because something is taking longer than you thought, doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Every step matters. Every delay teaches you something. Every challenge shapes your character. That's what people forget. They think the goal is just the result. But what matters just as much is who you become while you're working toward it. If you want something that lasts, it's going to take time. And if it takes time, it's going to take patience. Don't confuse patience with passiveness. Waiting is not the same as wasting. Patience is active. It's doing what needs to be done, while keeping your mind clear. It's repeating the small things that lead to big results. You won't feel excited every day, and that's normal. You don't have to feel motivated to be disciplined. You just need to honor the work. You've got to build a rhythm, a system, a routine that works, even when your feelings don't. Persistence is how you build strength. It's how you build confidence. You know you're serious about something when you're still working on it after the excitement is gone. It's one thing to dream big. It's another to stick with the grind. To wake up and do the same small task every day without seeing a result yet. That takes maturity. That takes focus. That's what most people avoid. But if you can stay locked in, you start to separate yourself. Most people want instant wins, but anything that comes fast usually fades fast. That's why you need both parts. Patience keeps your mind steady. Persistence keeps your feet moving. You don't have to rush, but you do have to keep going. Every step forward, no matter how small, adds up. Over time, the person who stayed consistent always outlasts the one who sprinted and stopped. You will get discouraged. That's not a flaw. It's part of the process. You will feel moments where you question everything, but that's when it matters most. That's when you remind yourself why you began. That's when you lean on your discipline, not your emotions. You don't get anywhere by chasing comfort. You grow when you choose to keep working, even when there's no applause, even when it feels like no one sees it. You keep your promise to yourself. People admire the results, but ignore the endurance it took to get there. The late nights, the quiet mornings, the rejections, the doubts, the restarts. That's the part that builds character. If you're not ready to stay in the game when it's not fun, you're not ready to win. It's easy to show up when everything's working. The ones who keep showing up when nothing's working, those are the people who make it. What helps is remembering this. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to be the one who doesn't quit. You keep improving. You keep adjusting. You keep giving your best effort. You stay locked on the goal, even if the timeline changes. That kind of determination is rare, but it's powerful, because no matter what life throws at you, you're not stopping. Stay focused on what you can do today. Don't try to solve everything in one night. Win the next hour. Do the next thing right. Build momentum, not pressure. Trust that steady effort beats scattered energy. And every time your mind tells you to stop, remind yourself of what's at stake. You didn't come this far to give up just because it's hard. You came this far to finish what you started. Keep going. Keep working. Keep building. Number 10, visualizing success with clear purpose and confidence. Success doesn't start on the outside. It starts in your mind. Before you ever reach the goal, before you ever earn the reward, you've got to see it clearly in your thoughts. Winners know exactly what they want. Not in a vague way, not in a soft, wishful way, but with certainty, with details, with purpose. It's not enough to say you want to be successful. That's too general. You've got to know what success looks like for you. You've got to define it in your terms. What kind of life you want. What kind of person you're becoming. What kind of work you want to do. And why it matters to you. A strong vision gives you direction. It becomes your internal guide. Without it, you drift. You get caught up in distractions. You chase things that don't matter. You try to please people who don't care. But when you have a clear picture of your future, you start moving with purpose. You stop wasting energy. You stop second-guessing every step. You make decisions faster. You act with more intention. Confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you build by getting clear on where you're going. The clearer the target, the stronger the drive. You stop being held back by doubts, because now you've got a reason to push through them. You're not guessing anymore. You've decided, and that decision pulls you forward. Most people never reach their goals because they never take the time to really see them. They hope things work out, but they don't take charge of the picture in their mind. When you start visualizing your future, use your senses. Make it real. Don't just see it. Hear it. Feel it. Picture yourself walking into the room where you've always wanted to work. Picture your name on the result you've been working toward. Feel the pride, the energy, the clarity that comes with that success. Let your mind believe it before the world sees it. The brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. That's why this is powerful. If you rehearse success in your mind, you're training yourself to expect it, to work for it, to move toward it with confidence. Now, this doesn't mean you sit around and daydream all day. Visualization is a tool, not a replacement for effort. You still have to do the work, but when you've seen it clearly, the work becomes more focused. You stop chasing random things. You stop reacting to life and start creating your life. That's the difference between being busy and being intentional. You can be busy for years and still feel stuck. But when you start working from a strong vision, every action starts adding up. People say, I don't feel motivated. That's because they haven't built a picture strong enough to pull them. Motivation comes from meaning. It comes from knowing what's waiting on the other side of your discipline. If your reason is weak, your drive will fade. If your vision is blurry, your steps will feel heavy. But if you've got a goal that's clear and tied to something that matters deeply to you, you'll keep going, even on the hard days. Every day, take a few minutes to check in with your vision. Remind yourself what you're working for. Get emotionally connected to it. Don't just think about what you want. Think about how you'll feel when you earn it. Think about the change it will bring in your life. Think about the people who will benefit. Let that feeling shape your mood. Let that feeling direct your choice. Confidence builds when your mind and actions are aligned. When you see the goal and move toward it, day after day, step by step, your belief grows. You're no longer hoping, you're building. Each step confirms your direction. Each habit strengthens your identity. That's how winners think. They don't need outside validation to feel confident. Their confidence comes from knowing they're showing up for their vision. And here's the thing. You don't have to start with perfect confidence. Most people don't. You start where you are. You start with the belief that it's possible. You build the rest along the way. You grow it by keeping promises to yourself, by doing the things you said you would do. Even when no one's watching, that's where real belief is born. Not in words, but in action. If your vision isn't clear yet, take the time to create it. Sit down, write it out, be honest with yourself. What kind of life would make you feel proud? What kind of effort would make you feel fulfilled? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Don't settle for the surface answer. Go deeper. Peel back the layers. Find what speaks to you. Not what others expect. Not what the world tells you to want. But what truly matters to you. Once you've got that, hold on to it. Keep it front and center. Speak it out loud. Let it shape your day. Let it shape your habits. Let it shape the way you handle obstacles. When the road gets tough, and it will, you'll have something stronger than fear, keeping you in the game. You'll have a future that's more important than your excuses. You'll have a purpose that keeps you steady when everything else feels uncertain. Every time you doubt yourself, go back to your vision. Every time you feel tired, remember what you're building. The mind will follow what you feed it. If you keep feeding it fear, confusion, and noise, it will shut down. But if you keep feeding it clarity, purpose, and belief, it will move mountains for you. The world doesn't give confidence to the unsure. It rewards those who see their future and go after it like they belong there. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to keep moving with clarity. That's how real momentum begins. That's how confidence grows. That's how your vision becomes real.